Welcome back. My computer sounds like what Trevor's phone usually sounds like.
Ha
I don't know what's going on, but it
I
sounds like it's going
implanted that so
slow.
you could feel what I felt.
Well, I also think I'm at the point I need a new computer.
That's
I
fair.
think I think I need a new MacBook. I've had this MacBook since freshman year of college, and that was like 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I think this
Well,
Mac was made way before that, so it's probably like 10 years old if you think about it.
you could do what I do and be on your phone, one, or two, just use your little siblings' computer.
Well, I could use my little siblings, but the problem is my little siblings in Mishawaka at college.
I mean, it's just down the road.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd have to drive 25, 30 minutes every day, Sunday,
Yeah.
during the week as well when I have to use it as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just think I'm at the point, but I don't really feel like investing because like today
No.
it was like I usually like what I'll do is like I'll charge it when I'm using it and then like just like let it sit and it always goes dead. And then today it kind of freaked me out because it was dead and then it wasn't charging and then it kept
Yeah.
like shutting off. So I was
Oh,
like, yeah,
dude.
this thing's probably on its deathbed.
Well, yeah, I'm saying all this, but my brother's MacBook is at 27%, and StreamYard loves to just decimate a battery.
You
So,
don't have a charger?
I mean, I could maybe scavenge one if it
Yeah.
needs to come to that, but
Yeah, that'd be nice. So,
that would be
all
nice.
right. With that being said, so we have a not too crazy of a show, mostly college football week one related. We have a couple other topics we'll get into real quickly before we get into college football. With that being started, Trevor, we also have sound from a local reporter here who covers Notre Dame football. So we
Yes.
will use some of that. Jerry's not with us tonight. He's living his best life in St. Louis.
Yeah.
He decided that whatever he's doing is better than this podcast.
Hard to
So,
argue that.
yeah, I don't blame him.
Nope.
If I wasn't the,
The
kind of the
face.
face of
Yep.
this, I may have done it myself. So he deserves a break in a busy college football season coming up. I will also say, me and Trevor are maybe thinking about doing a during the week show,
Oh,
um,
yes. Yeah.
maybe like Wednesday nights. Maybe we'll maybe look into that. So Wednesday or Thursdays, we'll figure that out. Maybe even Tuesdays. Who knows?
We can get weird and do a Tuesday.
But during the weekend, we're still going to do shows on Sundays at 7 in between the windows of all the games. So we'll go through some stuff, but then also to not, like Trevor made a great point, is like, why are we going to talk about college or NFL all the way the next Sunday? So we'll do some stuff. Jerry may pop in on that, but, he has a job during that time.
And he's
So,
has a social life as
yeah,
well.
of course. He lives in St. Louis, a
Yeah.
popping city where it's known for its social life, I
Yeah.
guess.
And you kind of have an obligation because you are the voice of the people.
I am. So
Yeah.
I have to give people what they want. It's just been, I think I'm going to start turning celebrity too this week. I had a couple brat reviews I did
Oh,
for.
that's what I was gonna text you this in our group chat, but I decided to wait to the podcast. I would like to renegotiate my contract on the podcast because I did not get one bra.
Yeah, I mean, so that kind of came about. They contacted me.
Wow, that's
It was
how big
after
time you are.
it was after the fair reviews that I did. They kind of
Okay.
contacted me. It was like, hey, we see you get a lot of views, and I was like, oh, 1,000 views is a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and so they contacted me, so I did those. Pretty cool. Shout out to EB's Meat Market. They were all very good.
I really wanted to try the jalapeno popper one. I'm a big jalapeno popper guy.
Yeah, it was very good. I will say the Korean barbecue is my favorite.
Mm.
Um, I don't. It was just like it wasn't. What I liked about every brat is like the flavors were not overpowering. You know how
Yeah.
sometimes you get brats and it's like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this is so much.
Yeah.
That was not the case. They were all very good. But Korean barbecue is very good. The Philly cheesesteak
Yeah.
is good as well.
I was gonna say too. I've only been asked to do one food thing, and it's probably the worst food thing you've ever done. So,
Well, maybe there'll be opportunities for group doing it, but this was
yeah,
just a solo adventure
yeah.
that I did here.
It's
So
okay. We'll talk when my contract comes up for negotiation. We'll
yeah,
bring it up.
you got a couple months.
Yeah.
This we don't do this thing where it's like, oh, like my contract's coming up, like I still have another year. No, I don't renegotiate. You
No.
play out your contract.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
I'm just asking
Speaking
for a
of,
brat, dude.
yeah, well, maybe you can maybe get one. I got some leftovers.
There we go.
Speaking of somebody that doesn't have to worry about money, Tommy
Woo!
Fleetwood. So Tommy Fleetwood, if anybody knows, has been a great player on tour for a very long time. He's won over in Europe many, many times. I think he's 34. He is a consistent, I'd say, top 15, top 10 player in the world. And he had a chance to get his first victory on the PGA Tour a couple weeks ago. And he kind of squandered it. He had a 2-shot lead with 3 holes left, lost it to Keegan Bradley. This week comes in, this is the big one, right? FedEx Cup Tour Championship, $10 million purse on the line here. He ends up winning it today, getting his first career PGA Tour win, which is very big. This is on the brink of the Ryder Cup as well, US versus Europe. So it gives him some good feeling going into that. But yeah, he wins $10 million,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
beating out Scotty Scheffler. Big time.
Yeah, I think I really don't know what keeps a guy going after you win $10 million. I would be sitting like on a beach somewhere for the rest of my life. But this Fleetwood guy, he's going to keep on golfing. It's
Yeah.
greed. That's what drives him. It's greed.
Yeah. I mean, look, I mean, you got to think about it. He's got to pay taxes. He has to pay out his caddy, his agent. He's got bills to pay, Like, this is not like, oh, just $10 million in the bank, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I think the purse total was like 40 million for everybody in the field. There's only 30 players. So, I mean, I think like second place got like 5 million or something.
Yeah.
So, a lot of money was shelled out this week. He wins the 10 million. Congrats to him. Like I said, Ryder Cup, which is US versus Europe, which is a very big event, September 26th to the 28th. It is back in America this year. Bethpage Black, a very good course.
That sounds like an English course. If I the Bethpage Black.
It's not
that sounds like I would put money on the English.
Well, maybe the English may win it. You never know.
Oh no, not on our soil, baby. They never won one time.
They have.
I'm talking about American Revolution, things like that.
No, that's right. They've never won a war against us.
Yeah,
why would they? They have no shot in that.
No.
They're still crying. That's why they hate our guts. But no, that'll be fun. 12 Americans, 12 Europeans. The top 6 are set for both teams. The biggest news for Team USA is the captain is Keegan Bradley, who still golfs. He was top 10 today in the event. And the question is he going to play or be our captain? So he's like kind of got to figure that out. So that's like
I'm
the big news going into.
Super familiar with like the golf stuff. Does the captain not usually play?
No, usually the captain is like much older.
Okay.
And the U.S. has tried to go a little bit younger. We went younger the last time 2 years ago with Zach Johnson, and it didn't really work out for us. We got killed, creamed. Europe has gone Luke Donald, so he was the captain they had 2 years ago when they won, so they brought him back. He's probably in his 50s.
Okay.
So
it's
yeah,
like prime golfing age.
Yeah, usually you go for like a 56-year-old. Everybody wants Tiger to be the captain.
Oh,
that's
cool.
kind of like the dream captaincy. But they picked Keegan Bradley to kind of go a little different. And he was also snubbed from the last team when he probably should have been on it. So, like I said, the big question is going to be, is he on the team or not? People like Rory said he shouldn't be on the team as a captain, but if he's one of the 12 best Americans, which as of right now, the way he's playing golf, he is.
Yeah.
Like he won like a month ago.
Yeah.
Like he should be on the team. So that's what's going to be interesting to see. So he has co-captain, so I don't know how that's all going to work out. But
well, and I was thinking about this too with this $10 million win. If I was thinking in my head, when I have a kid, they're just going to golf every day because you win one thing and then now you're a millionaire. What do you think though, like sport wise, what do you think would be like the best payout and then also like not being like crippled for the rest of your life?
Like what's the best sport to play? Win money?
Yeah.
I mean, probably golf or probably basketball.
Oh, you think so? What about baseball?
Yeah, baseball's probably not terrible. I mean,
they get like weird injuries though.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing. Like pitchers could throw in an arm.
Well, Zach Wheeler he had thoracic outlet syndrome or whatever. I'm not totally sure that's like sports related, but
well, I just figured out. So the pitcher tonight for the Red Sox, Dustin May, he like had his esophagus was like messed up last
only
year.
Happens in baseball.
Yeah, he was like eating somewhere and had soup and found out he like had a problem with his esophagus, and if he wouldn't have had emergency surgery, he would have died.
Oh my gosh.
So that like put him out for like the entire year. So Yeah, I don't know. Probably golf. I mean, it's probably
Yeah.
the sport where it's like, okay, if I can win 10 million, it'd probably be the best.
Yeah, but like
Um,
also you have to get to a level where
yeah.
that's even
Yeah, it's
feasible
probably
for
the
you.
hardest sport to be the best
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
without a doubt. Creepy photo Nolan Mark says, I agree, Trevor. You give me a million, I'm good.
Dude, I don't.
Um, Luke Hoxie, I think so this is who Luke is saying should be on the next six. JT, meaning Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa there. He's going a little cryptic. Patrick Cantley. Luke Hoxie loves Patrick Cantley, one of his
Okay.
favorites. He was tied for second today. Ben Griffin, Cam Young. I love Cam Young. And got her up. I have no idea what the hell that is.
That sounds like one of those Blicket name or Coot names.
Yeah. Never forget when Jonas Cespedes had his ankle fractured by a
Yeah,
wild
that's a
boar. Yeah.
strictly baseball thing.
Yeah.
So again, this might sound stupid, but I don't know anything about golf. Like Scotty Scheffler, he is not doing the Ryder Cup, or
No, he's in the, so he was
okay,
part of the he's like number one. He was
okay,
number one. So there's six guys that are based off of points, how you perform for the year.
okay,
So if you're the top six, and Keegan Bradley said if he was in the top six based off points, you clearly would be on the team because
right,
you're on the team because you're top six in points. No. So Scotty is part of the top six. He was our number one golfer. Like
okay,
they knew he was going to be on the team like 4 months ago.
okay,
Uh,
yeah,
Rory was the same way for the European team.
I got you. Oh, so what Luke was saying was they were the last six.
Yeah, so
I got
six
you.
are picked by points and six are picked by the captain.
Okay, that's cool.
So the captain has a chance to pick whatever six he wants out of the Americans, and for Luke Donald for the Europeans, he has six guys he can pick for the Europeans.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Chris
Chris got her
Gotterup.
up. See, that's a
Yeah,
Kahoot name, bro.
yeah, that sounds like a European name. Like, are we
Yeah.
sure he's not like commie in this and trying to? But no, so it is a fun sporting event because it is one of those where like Europe over the last like 50 or so years has kind of dominated us because we have the concept in America like individually
Mm-hmm.
and not team oriented. And Europe's always a team. But we got killed last time. Which granted, when we go over and play in Europe, we don't usually play very well. So we're
Yeah.
back in America now. Last time we played in America, Whistling Straits in Wisconsin, we dominated them.
Okay,
So
and I
it'll be
have
very
another
interesting.
question. Again, so maybe a stupid question. The Ryder Cup, it's US versus Europe?
Yeah.
Oh, so they get to pick from any country in Europe.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
Yeah, I know. It's just
That's
like
like
the Little League World Series.
yeah, that's cheating.
Like the 10 countries from the world and like 10 teams from America. You only
Yeah,
give us
dude.
10 teams.
Yeah, you can get a German dude, you can get an English dude, you can get a French dude. It's cheating.
Yeah. Well, this will also be funny to you. The President's Cup, which is another golf event that they do, is America versus the world.
That's cheating.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know who I guarantee the Americans were like, let's do this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
We
It
usually
wasn't the
dominate. We
world's
usually
idea.
dominate the President's Cup. We
I
usually
got you.
dominate the
Okay.
President's Cup.
Yeah,
Because it's like they do like lesser golfers sometimes in those
I
events. Like
got you.
big names still play, but it's like the teams aren't as deep. But it's a fun event. It's one of those where everybody comes out and shows out. It's what you expect, America versus Europe. We do not back down to them. They hate our guts.
Back to back
And
World War champs.
yeah, and we have to prove to them that we're the power in America.
Yeah,
So hopefully they can get over here and hopefully they can get home. Like
yeah,
that's just what I'm saying with
yeah.
the way our administration's going at this point. Going now to people that want more money, we go from Tommy Fleetwood, who just won 10 million. These guys would wish to get a raise of at least 10 million.
Yeah.
In the NFL world. So these guys still do not have extensions. We talked about this, I feel like 2 months ago, a month ago, have yet to be done. Micah Parsons, Terry McLaurin, Trey Hendrickson still do not have contracts worked out. Micah Parsons was laying on a table during sleeping during the last preseason game Friday night. Terry McLaurin and Trey are both with their team and they're staying quiet. Like they're just being like, hey guys, we're here. We're not doing anything, but we're here. So Micah is a little bit different. I think he's trying to prove a point, but I don't think it's going to work out for him.
Yeah.
With the Cowboys. I think that he'll get a deal done. There's no doubt in my mind. It'll probably be right before the game Thursday in a couple weeks. Terry McLaurin, I think a deal will also get done. It's one of those for Washington where it's like, look, pay the man. He's been there forever. He's gone through a lot. Now that you're on the up and up, you kind of need him more than anything. And then the Bengals situation from Trey Hendrickson, I told you about this. We talked on the phone the other day. Albert Breer was on Dan Patrick and was talking that the number that he's gotten would actually shock people, but it still doesn't feel like a win for him.
Mm.
And the Bengals are kind of in the situation where they need it to be a win for him and make him feel like he won. But the Bengals are like, hey, you're 31. We've gone through this like 2 or 3 times with you already. So we're not going to budge. So I don't know what's going to happen. The Bengals need him. So that's what's going to be interesting. But I expect all these to get done. Maybe Trey Anderson gets traded, but I don't know. It's so late now in camp that
Yeah.
it just feels like a deal is just going to get done.
Yeah, and the thing with Trey Hendrickson too, which I brought it up, and we said this like months ago, that the Bengals messed up by not being one of the first teams to sign their elite pass rusher. They let the other team set the market, and then they've kind of gotten themselves in a bad situation. But the one thing I will say is that, like you said, the number that Hendrickson is getting would shock people.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that in like a good way, right?
Yeah.
That it's not a insult to Trey Hendrickson.
No.
It might be to him, but that's what I'm kind of getting at is what is he looking for now? I would say that it's like you said, it's gotten so late into the offseason, starting the actual season, that I think you just take a deal and be happy with it. And then because I don't see a whole lot of teams at this point shoveling out money. Now, if this was June, July, I'd have a different conversation. But it's getting late, and I think it's time for him to sign what people are saying is a bonkers deal,
Yeah.
and just continue with the season. I mean, everyone knows that the Bengals defense is the bad side of their team. So let's get the deal done. Let's get the Bengals back to being a contender, right, in the AFC. And let's get this behind us, I would say to Trey Hendrickson. But obviously, he is saying that I'm worth this amount of money and I will not go below that, which is admirable. But to a point, I feel like it's almost like a distraction to what the ultimate goal is. So I would like to see him get it done, but
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like he's 31 years old.
yep.
Um, he's done this a couple times. I think it's more of like the guaranteed money after this season.
Gotcha.
He kind of wants more security. Is kind of what Albert Breer was saying. But yeah, I mean, like I said this like a month ago when we talked about it. He is like, yes, he led the league in sacks last year, but he's not viewed as like the best pass rusher.
No.
Like him and Micah Parsons are probably both the same impact to their team and give you probably the same amount of sacks this year. But one is Micah Parsons and he plays for the Cowboys, and the other one is Trey Hendrickson.
Mm-hmm.
And so Trey Hendrickson has to look at it as like, look, I'm like the fifth best known pass rusher probably in the league. And therefore, you're behind Micah, who's trying to get a new deal at the same time as you.
Yeah.
You're behind Max Crosby, who got the new deal first.
Yep.
You're behind,
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt, who got a deal. And then you're behind Myles Garrett, who got a new deal this offseason, too. So I'm sure that his number's probably right in line with probably like Max Crosby's deal. And he's like, well, that's not the most. And I led the league in sacks. So it's really goofy. The Terry McLaurin one to me is goofy too for not getting done because, like, you need him. Jaden Daniels needs him. You haven't really shown him much love by bringing in like Deebo Samuel. It's like, oh, this guy makes a lot of money. We're gonna bring him in as well. So that's the one thing that's weird to me. It's like, why is this taking forever?
Yeah, and as soon as he's not the face of the franchise anymore, I mean, for years he was the face of the franchise. Then Jaden Daniels, which, granted, you're the quarterback, right? You performed at a very high level. You're going to be the face of the franchise. That comes with the gig. But the fact that Terry can't get enough respect from the Commanders to get a deal done is crazy. And like you said, I never even really thought about that. Bringing in Deebo, and that guy's got his money. Oh, my gosh, man. That's rough.
Well, and it's also you're a franchise that is like you're trying to turn the leaf of Dan Snyder. You've had good faith from everybody since the new ownership has taken over. You've done everything in everybody's mind the right way. Like you had such a great year last year making it to the NFC Championship game. You're on the verge of getting a new stadium back at your old site in DC.
Yeah.
Like you have good faith going everywhere, and you have a guy who's been loyal to you, has done everything he can, and now you're sitting here arguing over pennies.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so weird to me. So this feels like, hey, you've gone in a great direction, but now we're going like 10 steps backwards because we can't get this deal done.
And then I'll kind of sorry, Austin's MacBook is like blowing up with text messages right now. There it is. Do not disturb.
He's a popular person.
It's gonna turn on do not disturb on his phone too. This is gonna be a hilarious thing that happens to him. But I'll kind of get started with the Micah Parsons thing. That falling asleep on the table while the game's happening seems like the most Cowboys player thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, it's just like T.O. When
Yeah,
he was with the
exactly.
Eagles doing sit-ups and
Yeah.
stuff in the parking lot.
This is just on par for the best player on the Cowboys. Just falling asleep during your game because his ego is that. And this is coming from a huge Cowboys hater. I am like the biggest Cowboys hater ever. But this is just like the inflated ego of Micah Parsons. Now, is he a phenomenal player? Yes. But the decency to just act like you're a part of a team, even if it's a preseason game, to just sit on the sideline, watch the game, talk to your teammates, eat a hot dog, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
To make a spectacle of laying, and it wasn't like he was like on the sideline. From what I saw, he was like almost in like by the end zone.
Yeah.
And he's asleep by himself on a table. What are we doing, bro?
Yeah, the whole thing is goofy because, like, I honestly think that Jerry Jones thought he had a deal with him in the spring, like a handshake deal.
Yeah.
And then the paperwork was never filed for some reason or never done through the agent. So something happened there because now some people are like, is the agent making this worse? No, the agent's like looking out for his player.
Yeah.
But now I think it's to a point where it's like, look, you've done this for years with guys where you and them just do deals, which per the NFL is illegal. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to like prolong this and prove a point. Like, look, the Cowboys need him. The Cowboys want him there. There's no doubt about it. This is just Jerry Jones wanting more publicity and TV, and sadly, Micah's playing into it.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Jones is going to be like, I'll give you probably another extra $5 million because you laid on that table and you gave us another week's worth of content.
Yeah.
Like, but I also think like this is crazy to think too is like the documentary for the Cowboys just came out. I haven't watched it yet, but that
Me
just
neither.
came out. So it's like he's probably letting that breathe, and then once the talk about that is kind of over, late next week, early next week, he'll be like, all right, let's get this contract done.
Yeah. I saw someone said this. I'm not sure who, so I don't know if you'll know, but he said that the Cowboys are just the Jaguars,
Oh
but the
yeah,
media like loves to cover them.
I forget who said that.
But
I
I
saw
think
that
I
as
love
well.
that. As an Eagles fan, that made me so happy that someone said that.
I mean, it's like I think if you did a vote right now of Cowboys fans, they would not want Jerry to run the team.
Oh no, I would
Um,
agree. Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
Ed Warner, who's covered the Cowboys for like 35 plus years, said that they're the only people that would vote for Jerry to stay in power is Jerry and his children in Dallas, and that would be it. Everybody else would be like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. I think all three deals are going to get done. It's just when do they get done and the goofiness of each one of them.
Yep.
But yeah, crazy is Micah is playing into what Jerry Jones wants. Like, oh, let me lay on the table. He's probably like, oh, this guy, like, let's get this deal done.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
I
getting
want
this
you even
money.
more. Like $5
Yeah.
million now extra a year because you gave us talking points for a week.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, moving now on to college football week 0. I will specify
Woo!
I only watched like the last 8 minutes of this game, and I was not very happy when I was watching it. Iowa State beats Kansas State in Ireland, 24-21. Now, Trevor, you watched this game. I'll quickly go through what I saw, and then I'll let you take this over. It was sloppy. It looked like the field itself.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell happened to the field? And then the only other thing I saw on Twitter was Dylan Edwards, who I have high hopes for Kansas State. I picked Kansas State to win the Big 12, so I need them to be great. He, like, fumbled a punt and then never played again.
Yep.
Like a healthy scratch, so I don't know what happened there. I also bet on Kansas State to win, so I'm 0-0 or 0-1 to start the season. So that's great. Makes me feel wonderful.
I bet too. So that's like we don't even have to say this is not betting advice anymore because why would anyone take our advice?
No, we lost. We're
Yeah.
losers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started watching when they were down 10, and then they made that big long touchdown. I'm like, oh, game's not over, and then their defense just consistently just blew it away.
Yeah. So I think halftime they went into halftime and the score was 7-7. It was like a very ugly first half. It was first half that kind of made the defense look pretty good for both sides. just because that fumble punt happened, and then so Iowa State's on like the 4, about to score, and then they fumble, and Kansas State recovers it. And then it was just kind of, it was a very defensive first half, kind of boring to be honest. But if you watch the last 8 minutes of the game, you probably watched the best part of the game. There was, some exciting plays happening on offense. But something that I just think, like I said, Iowa State, they what was I going to say? Iowa State, they're on the 4-yard line. If they don't fumble that ball, they go up by a touchdown. Okay, so I think there was multiple times. I think this game was closer than it really should have been. I saw there was multiple points where Iowa State kind of shot themselves in the foot, and Kansas State got very lucky because of that. And like you said, this is a game you thought Kansas State was going to win. This is a game that I thought Kansas State was going to win.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. And then again at the end, where it's 4th and 3, they throw that little, flats pass to the running back, and he almost scores that. And then they decide to knee it to finish the game. Like that right there could have put them up even more. So there were multiple times that Iowa State could have really, I think, put Kansas State away. And they kind of shot themselves in the foot. The conditions weren't perfect. And there was a lot of talk about the field, how it's like a soccer field or a rugby field. And the commentators were talking about, switching cleats at halftime, which maybe Iowa State did and Kansas State didn't. I don't know. But I think, too, Iowa State's quarterback, I wrote his name down, Rocco Becht or something like that.
Yeah,
he played pretty good in the second half. I was pretty happy with his performance. And I thought ultimately what I got from this is that Iowa State is just on another level than Kansas State right now. Yeah. Now it's week 0, right?
That is so
you don't want to put too much into this because you could tell both of the offenses were not clicking. They were not firing on all cylinders. Iowa State started to get there. Kansas State never really got there. These are two teams that you could see again, and fighting for the Big 12. I know Arizona State's also in there. That's going to be competitive. But I thought just watching this game that Iowa State was kind of a tier above Kansas State. Then again, it is week 0. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's week 0. Defenses are probably going to look great just because of offenses. They're still trying to maybe figure it out. Rocco for Iowa State, maybe the next Brock Purdy. People have said that because of his name. Matt Campbell's a good coach at Iowa State. There's no doubt about that. I usually think that if you have a really good coach, you should always win the first game of the year in your bowl game.
Yeah.
And usually really good coaches do that.
Yeah.
Because you've had so much time to prep for the opponent that you're playing. I think Urban Meyer stated that as well. It's like I should always win my first game of the year and I should always win my bowl game. I have the most time to prep for those games.
Yeah.
In between that, you never really know.
Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't mean Kansas State is going to be awful, but it is a setback. And you did say you don't know the full stat, but sometimes teams that play in Ireland kind of struggle throughout the year. So that will be interesting to see.
Yep.
But both these teams get a bye week this next week to kind of rest and recover and figure themselves out. But yeah, like I said, to me, just from what I watched, sloppy, but that's a week 0 game. I mean, there's nothing really too crazy to expect out of these, but it was a cool little ranked matchup, I'd say, in Ireland. Usually those games could be a little funky or a little blowout. Like Notre Dame played Navy there a couple years ago, and it was a complete blowout. It was like, why did Navy even show up?
Yeah.
But this was a little ranked, so it was pretty fun to see that. All right, moving now to week 1 where we have some great matchups. Great. This could be dubbed as the greatest opening week in college football history. I mean, that is how good it is.
Yeah.
So I think we have 10 games total that we're going to make picks for. But we're obviously not going to fully go through every game. Like we're going to do the top 3 games. We're going to sit down and we're going to discuss, hash it out, maybe argue, get into it. Who knows? Drop elbows. Maybe stuff sacos in each other's mouths. But no, so starting out on Thursday night at 9 p.m., this is gross to me that this is a 9 p.m. game on Thursday.
Yeah, for real.
Like, can we figure this out? Maybe.
Yeah, are they on the West Coast or something?
Yeah, I don't know. This is in Kansas. It's in Kansas City.
That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, Nebraska -6.5 versus Cincinnati Thursday night. in Kansas City, playing at the Chiefs. Dylan Raiola, who is Patrick Mahomes wannabe,
Want to
gets
be?
to
Yeah.
play in his stadium for his opening game. That'll be
Yeah.
super funny to see how he comes in walking. Um, I'm going to pick Nebraska in this game to cover. I have high hopes for Nebraska.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be very good this year. And I think that they're going to prove it on national TV in front of everybody at 9 p.m. on a Thursday
Yeah.
that they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah. I'm also going to go with Nebraska. I don't know a whole lot about these two teams, but when there is like a Big Ten and ACC team, I'm probably going to go with the Big Ten team.
Yeah.
Unless they're
Like I
Clemson.
said, yeah, this is just it's a fun game to look at and say, well, okay, but I think it's going to be one of those games where Nebraska's going to play and everybody's going to be like, oh, I think Nebraska's going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Now starting Friday night at 8 p.m. on Fox, Auburn is a -2.5 point favorite at Baylor. Hugh Freeze have already stated 3 quarterbacks are going to play in this game. So that gives me a little pause.
Yeah.
When I hear that. Now he has Jackson Arnold, who was a 5-star coming out of high school when he went to Oklahoma and he's transferred in. Deuce Knight, who's also a 5-star, but he's a true freshman. The other kid, I have no idea who the hell he is. They're playing at Baylor. Baylor's pretty good last year. You have Waco. They're an established program. I mean, this game is kind of tough to see who's going to win it. I'm going to go with Baylor here in a little upset action to win this one. Just the 3 quarterbacks really makes me nervous.
I also something that I want to talk about later, but anytime you have multiple quarterbacks, you really have no quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Baylor too. Baylor's not a bad team.
No.
Baylor and Auburn is, I would say, towards the bottom of SEC teams.
Yeah.
Not at the bottom,
middle tier. They're like
they can be competitive with good teams, but really at the end of the day, I would say that this is probably a pretty good Baylor squad that they have to go against. And like you said, if they're going to play 3 quarterbacks, there's going to be no consistency. So I'll take Baylor.
Yeah. All right. Georgia Tech -4-point favorite at Colorado. This is a new look Colorado. This game's also Friday night at 8 p.m. on ESPN, though. Why they do these, knowing that like this is so goofy to me. 2 games at 8 p.m. They don't really care. They're going to try and cancel each other out.
Yep.
But we're going to see Colorado without Shador Sanders and without Travis Hunter. This is a new era. Georgia Tech is a very good football team. Haynes King at quarterback. They went toe-to-toe with Georgia last year. A very surprising team in the ACC. I think this one is an easy one for me. I'm going to go Georgia Tech, and I think they cover the 4.
Okay.
I just think Colorado's going to need a couple weeks to figure out themselves with their new quarterback situation. The kid from Liberty, who's good, but he's starting new there in Colorado. Maybe Julian Sand plays their freshman, so they could play 2 quarterbacks. I don't really know what's going to happen there. So I'm just going to go with Georgia Tech to win this game.
Okay, yeah. I will probably go with Georgia Tech too. I mean, when I think about Colorado, especially last season, you think of these close games with teams that weren't very good, but there was really no better players on the field than Shador and Travis Hunter in some of these games, so they could kind of by themselves take them over the hump. So I think, like you said, it's going to take a couple weeks for them to really find themselves. And I don't think there's anyone on that team right now that has that impact that Shador or Travis Hunter had. So, yeah, I'll take Georgia Tech on this too.
Yeah, and now moving into Saturday, where Luke Hoxie has said Saturday's a bad day to be a beer, which I would agree with. It is a great, great weekend. Of course, these are not the only games on Saturday we have here. These are just some of the ones we're going to highlight before we get into the 2 big ones. Syracuse versus number 24 Tennessee. Tennessee's a 13.5-point favorite. This game is playing in Hotlanta in the ATL. This is going to be interesting because Tennessee obviously has a new starting quarterback with Nico leaving. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see. Syracuse also has a new quarterback with Steve Angeli, who used to be the backup at Notre Dame. I've seen a lot of Steve. Very capable quarterback. He's not going to lose you games, but he's necessarily not going to win you games either. So I think this game's going to be this game is interesting to me because 13.5 seems like a lot for Tennessee here.
Yeah.
Because, Syracuse, last year with Kyle McCord, they were a very good team in their first year with their new head coach. So I don't really know what to expect. I think this is going to be a close game. I think Tennessee wins it, but I don't think that they cover.
Yeah. This is Also, probably not going to be a game that I watch too closely because this is noon at Saturday, right?
Yeah, noon
And
on
there is
ABC.
another
Yeah,
team, two teams which we're going to get to playing at noon, and
yeah,
that is definitely going to have my full undivided attention. I did write some stuff down. Tennessee is 3-0 against Syracuse, but they haven't played
interesting.
since like 2001.
Ooh, interesting.
So I'm going to take Tennessee. I don't know a whole lot about either of these teams. We might have a better idea after this game in coming
Yeah,
weeks, just exactly what these teams have to offer. But I'm not super knowledgeable on either of these teams, so I'll take Tennessee to win this game.
yeah, and I will also state this is not gambling advice.
This is not gambling advice.
Yeah, we have no idea what the hell we're
That's why I'm
talking
picking
about.
a winner.
Yeah, who we think's gonna be a winner.
Yeah.
This is not gambling advice. We have no idea what could happen. Do not listen to us when you place your bets. Also, if you do come with us, if you do ride with us for bets, please do not send us text messages that you hate us and want to kill us, because it's not our
We
fault
are
that you
not good
listen
at
to us.
this.
No. For our next game here, Creepy Photo Nolan Mark says Bama seems free. Yeah, I get the impression that it does. Number 8, Alabama, who's a minus 13.5 point favorite at Florida State. This is not the Florida State of old, but this is Florida State, of course, coming off of a terrible year.
Yeah.
New and approved Florida State. This game is being played at 3:30 on ABC. 3:30 in the dead heat in Florida. This sounds terrible. I don't really know what to expect from Florida State. I don't think anybody really knows what to expect from Florida State. Alabama is one of the better rosters in college football. You have a new quarterback in Ty Simpson. You have Ryan Williams on the outside. A defense is supposed to be pretty good. In week one, where defenses are kind of get the upper advantage over offenses just because it is much harder to figure out offenses and practices. I think Alabama's going to win, and I do believe that they cover in this game. I think they could easily win by like 17 points. I think it's a close game, and then they kind of just pull away after halftime.
Yeah, so I think this is a little interesting. Both of these teams coming off of a obviously one more than the other off a season last year that wasn't actually neither of these teams thought they would be where they were at last year at the end of the season. So I think for Florida State to really get a win here, they have to be competitive. They have to not get blown out. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Florida State, new play caller, old UCF head coach. So that's a little bit of a change. Yes. And then new quarterback from Boston College.
Yep.
So these are changes. Again, this is week one. So do we really know what's going to happen here? No. But I think those are little interesting details that can maybe be intriguing just going into this game thinking about. I have a very hard time, though, buying any stock of Florida State after last season.
Yeah.
Now, will that change, week 3, week 4? Possibly. But I'm going to go with Alabama here. I think Alabama has a lot to prove here because I think Alabama fans or people looking at Alabama would say this kind of has to be a blowout to make us feel really comfortable about Bama this year.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is very tough. Gus Malzahn, left UCF to be the offensive coordinator. He, I believe, when Auburn won the national title with Cam Newton, he was the offensive coordinator there. Yep. So he's a very good offensive coordinator. Head coach, maybe not so much. Right. Trevor, the people are asking for a 10-leg parlay to throw the mortgage on.
I'll hit you in the DMs, Luke.
Yeah, this is not gambling advice. Luke Boxy. We have no idea what the hell we're talking about. This is another little sneaky game. Shane Beamer's dad is Frank Beamer, who is the historical great head coach for Virginia Tech. So Virginia Tech, this is now on Sunday. We're moving to Sunday. Yep. Virginia Tech versus number 13 South Carolina. South Carolina is an 8-point favorite. This is Sunday at 3 on ESPN in Atlanta as well. This is another Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Why, yes, of course, in Atlanta, Chick-fil-A, Coke is probably a sponsor. It all just works itself out, right?
Yeah.
Eat more chicken or whatever they say. Sneaky game. Virginia Tech, not high hopes much. They've kind of struggled the last couple of years. Ever since Frank Beamer kind of retired, they're kind of in no man's land, it kind of feels like, in the ACC. South Carolina has high expectations. Lenora Sellers as their quarterback. Shane Beamer, the pressure is on. You have Dylan Stewart on defense. You have one of arguably the top 3 defensive players in the country.
Yep.
and a guy who could be top 5 offensive players in the country in Lenore Sellers. So there's a lot of pressure on them. I think this game is a blowout. I think South Carolina kind of dominates Virginia Tech, and I wouldn't be shocked if they win by like 20 points.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. So last year, to open the season, Virginia Tech loses to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
A game where maybe Virginia Tech was looking past Vanderbilt. I'm going to say something similar might happen here with South Carolina, and I have to pick an upset. So I'm actually going to say that South Carolina is going to overlook Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech is going to become prepared to start their season this time and actually take down number 13 South Carolina.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty bold right there.
Yeah.
That is pretty bold. Maybe
we had
you
to
in
get
Vegas
one somewhere.
Maybe you and Vegas are on the same line with the -8 there. I mean, if you keep doing that, Trevor, they're going to want Trevor's magical 10 every week. You never know.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Got to throw it down.
Yeah.
All right. So this game's now on Monday. This is the end capper of college football, the Bill Belichick debut.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times they're going to show his girlfriend. It's going to be like the Taylor Swift cam.
Should we do an over-under for
we can.
What was her name?
Livy Dunn.
Livy Dunn and that cheeseburger.
Yeah, the guy that he looks like a cheeseburger. Paul Skeens.
Yeah, Paul Skeens.
We can because I think they're going to show her a lot if they can find her.
Okay, all right.
Jordan Hudson is that her name? I believe.
Okay.
If I got that wrong, she'll probably sue me. So don't specify here. I will say that video we did, I think it was just me and Jerry. I don't think you were there for that video. That was like our most watched video we've done so far for the lives.
Which one was it?
We talked about her and the whole CBS interview and all, like when she butted in and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't that. Yeah.
So I don't. North Carolina may be our people. Love or hate her, they may love us. I would set the over/under for like 3.5 times.
Okay, I'll take some of that action. Not betting advice.
I'm gonna go with the over on that. I think they show her a lot.
Okay, all right. I'm not familiar with her, but I'll go under just to keep things interesting.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that they're going to show her a ton, and I mean a ton, because she has been talked about all this offseason just as much as Bill Belichick has, and I'm writing this down that we bet on this. On appearance.
Well, the nice thing is too, this is the Monday where nothing else is happening. So
no,
really, if this was like a Saturday at 3:30 p.m., I don't know if I'd be tuning into TCU at North Carolina. But because it's a Monday and nothing else is happening, I will definitely be watching this game.
Yeah. So now moving on to the game. Of course, that's what everybody's here for.
Yeah.
TCU is a 3-point favorite at North Carolina. Debut of Bill Belichick. X's and O's wise, you expect him to be the best, but that doesn't always matter in college football. I talked about how you should always win your first game as a really good coach.
Yep.
But with this, I think that there is a lot of talk coming into this, maybe some distraction. TCU's kind of flying under the radar a little bit. You kind of know what they may be, what they may not be. So I'm going to go with TCU to win this game, and I like 3 points. They could probably win it by like a field goal.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to go with North Carolina. Okay. I do like what you said earlier about great coaches win their first game in their bowl game. Bill Belichick's one of the best to ever do it. I am going to be cheering for them. I want to see what he has, what he's brought to the team. He doesn't got Tom Brady, and we saw some of his seasons without Tom Brady.
Yeah, didn't go very well.
They weren't great. But I don't know. I'm interested.
Fired.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what he brings to North Carolina, and I'm going to cheer for the Tar Heels. So
yeah, you're just saying that so you don't get sued by his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Good job. Everybody's saying thanks, Trevor. Going to throw my rent money on it. I think Nolan was talking about the number for he heard Livy Dunn and he got excited.
Oh yeah. 3.5, right? 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 for Jordan Hudson appearances, not Livy. I'm sure this will probably be a bet on thing. I am overly positive that will be a bet on. So those are all the games that are kind of around the massive weekend that we have here. The massive one on Sunday night that I will be watching with every bone in my body. It's a very big one. to me near and dear. This team is the one that makes me cry or laugh in happiness. Out of all the teams I root for, this is the team that if they lose, it really ruins my weekend, my week. Hopefully they do not do that Sunday night going into Miami to play the Canes. But we have number 6 Notre Dame versus number 10 Miami. Very, very fun game, I'd say, to start the season. Catholics versus convicts. That old school saying, mantra.
Yeah.
Notre Dame goes in as a minus 2.5 point favorite. The over-under is set to 50.5, and I think the over-under has been fluctuating a lot. Just because of kind of what people expect. Carson Beck is no longer at Georgia. He's at Miami, which is going to be very, very interesting to watch. Notre Dame also has a new quarterback as well in C.J. Carr. We have some sound that we'll play in a moment from Sabrina Hoover, WNDU sports reporter, talking about it. But this game it's just a fun game, I'd say, just as a college football fan, to have this big of a matchup in week 1.
Yep. Yeah. So are we doing our picks yet, or
no?
Sabrina first.
Let's do some comments and then we'll play Sabrina's CJ Carr stuff. Nolan Mark said the under for Jordan Hudson, and then he also said it's time LFG Fighting Irish.
What does LFG mean, Caleb?
Let's effing go. Mantra made famous by Tom Brady.
Nice.
So as I was saying, CJ Carr, highly touted redshirt freshman. There was kind of a battle in fall camp. This was really funky. No one expected a battle, and it ended up being a battle versus redshirt sophomore Kenny Minchie after Riley Leonard left. So I sat down with Sabrina Hoover this week and talked about Notre Dame the upcoming season. I'll have the whole interview out this week in place of our midweek show that we're going to have. That show this week will be just about Notre Dame, as we are in Michiana, as they call it. Right in the backyard. So I talked to Sabrina about CJ Carr and kind of how it doesn't feel like everybody is fully excited to have him as the starting quarterback. He committed. That was a big deal. Like the excitement around him. And I don't know if it's kind of shifted, I feel like, where it's like he was expected to be the starter. Like the day he committed, it was like he's going to be the starter one day.
Right.
We get to fall camp. Minchie kind of pushes him a little bit, and now the narrative is kind of like, oh, CJ Carr's the starter. So can you explain that a little bit? Maybe has the perception of him changed, or it's just what's expected, so it's not as exciting?
That's a good question. Yeah, because, I won't lie. When Sunday happened, that was the last time that we got to talk to Marcus Freeman, before fall camp ended. And it was still a competitive, quarterback battle. And it wasn't a big shock to me, really, knowing that, like, both CJ Carr and Kenny Minchie were still battling it out, because when talking to, the offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock, he talked a lot about how, like, they're both just elevating their play throughout fall camp. And I think even seeing CJ Carr and both Kenny Minchie in the blue gold game, they showed a lot of potential, especially CJ Carr, throwing the ball down the field, Kenny Minchie using his legs. So I don't know if they both were, was this a big shock that they both were still competing up to this point? Maybe a little, but from just what we heard, both of them were elevating their game. They both were big leaders in the locker room. I know Mike Denbrock talked about this not being a big shock to them because, they have two big leaders in the locker room, and them not having a decision doesn't really give them a lot of anxiety. So a lot of, other fans would say different, of course, but that wasn't a big shock to them. And knowing that, they had a lot of confidence in both of these quarterbacks, whoever was going to step on that field. I think CJ Carr won the ultimate battle in my head, honestly, throughout fall camp for me, was seeing how dialed in he was every single day. I mean, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but he would be throwing the ball off to the side while literally they were stretching. Like, it was like dialed in from a redshirt freshman that I've never seen before from a quarterback perspective. And then when you talk to him, like in press conferences, he's so comfortable. And that was also rare to see, because I know a lot of, redshirt freshmen coming into this, program are a little bit nervous or a little bit, on edge, but he just seemed like, he's a leader. And I think he talked a lot about Riley Leonard really helping him in that aspect, of course, too, when he was here. So I think he won me back in the beginning of fall camp, but Marcus Freeman talked about, this kind of elevating everyone's game to have this competition. So I think at the end of the day, both of them, whether it was going to be Minchie or Carr, were both going to be, leaders. And I think, again, we're going to talk about Miami soon, but I think whoever's going to be on that field in Miami, CJ Carr now being the leader now on the field for Miami, he's got a roller coaster the entire season, obviously, with Miami, Texas A&M, Arkansas, 3 big ones to start the season. But it's going to be hard for any starting quarterback, but especially for redshirt freshmen.
I will say, nothing makes you feel better than when you get – that's a good question from somebody in the business.
Yeah. And she's also probably the most qualified and well-spoken and honestly just deserves it person to ever be on this podcast.
Yeah, without a doubt. When she agreed, I was surprised.
Yeah, because it's just us 3 idiots.
Yeah, that's basically what I told her. I said, hey, I do this small little old YouTube show podcast with my friends. We're all idiots. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. We kind of go off the seat of our pants. I was thinking about you coming on to talk about Notre Dame football for this upcoming season with the quarterback battle and, maybe having her on a couple times throughout the year to talk about stuff. And she was more than happy to do it. She was excited to do it. She thanked me.
Saint of a woman.
She thanked me for reaching out to her.
It's like feeding the poor.
Yeah, I guess. You can put it that way.
She brought her super phenomenal talent and just gave it to these peasants.
Yeah, pretty much. She was like, oh, hey, let me bless you with some things. You can't get in the room like I can. Let me tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And I'm also smarter than you. And
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, dude.
I'm saying I have a big brain. I mean, I'm not saying that she isn't smarter than me, but I got good question a couple times from somebody.
Yeah.
Like that, that's exactly, that's a big brain right there.
Yeah.
I don't see her going live every week with 2 other idiots and trying to keep a show together. No, she's structured with an actual producer, a studio, structure surrounding her. I don't have that.
Well, and also she's not the voice of the people.
No. Clearly not. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it like I do. I will say though, as a fan of Notre Dame, I'm very excited for CJ Carr. All the people that are moaning and groaning about him becoming the starting quarterback and all the reporters that said he looked bad in camp, blah, 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 blah. Look, this kid has the most talent we've seen from a quarterback since Jimmy Clausen in Notre Dame. And that was 15 years ago. So we all need to be excited. This kid can take us to the next level.
Yeah.
Everybody has talked about for Notre Dame, we don't have quarterbacks that can take us to the next level. We have good quarterbacks, but not great quarterbacks. Now this kid has a chance to be a great quarterback and to really elevate us. I've watched this kid throw live in person. It's different. It is different than every other quarterback on the roster. It was different than Riley Leonard, who throws, and now in the NFL. Everything about it's different. This kid has what the kids call aura to him, and I'm excited for it. And I really liked what you said, where it's just he just has a presence to him that is much different. And it's going to be fun to watch. Now, there's going to be some growing pains. He's a redshirt freshman. He's only played 1 game, and that was when they were up by 1 million against Purdue last year. But I think he's ready for the moment. He's got great weapons he can throw to on the outside. He's got a good great offensive line. He has the best running back in the country behind him. He's got arguably the best offensive coordinator in the country, Mike Denbrock, who, has won a Heisman Trophy with Jaden Daniels. So he's going to be fine. It's going to there's going to be some patches. Miami's going to be tough, but we also talked about, and you'll see when I post the interview this week, is Marcus Freeman likes to take these young guys with high potential and put them in action. He did that last year with Anthony Knapp, who was a true freshman, left tackle against Texas A&M, who was arguably the best defensive line in the country. He said, you're going to play in an environment of 110,000 people, one of the loudest stadiums in the country. You're going to start. You just came in the spring. You've only been here for 6 months. You're going to play. And he ended up being great. And now he's looked at in 2 years to be the number 1 offensive lineman drafted. So I'm excited for it. And yeah, all the people, it has been very goofy that everybody's just kind of been disappointed in CJ Carr. And it's funny to me.
Yeah. Do you want to get to the game?
Yeah, so I'll get to the game. I'll get to Nolan Mark, great content, of course, creepy photo, love new level. Love, yeah, look, we stepped up there. Sabrina.
Yeah,
we definitely did.
Way up.
We stepped way up, and guess what? We have more from her right now talking about her take on the game.
To Hard Rock Stadium before. They've won in that stadium. They know that field. They know that area. So I think like for them, it gives them a little bit more confidence having that experience there, of course. But again, it's week 1 with a new starting quarterback. This is a huge environment, if not maybe the biggest environment he's going to be in all season, really.
Yep.
First one right out of the gate. So I think like, again, just like you mentioned, having Carson Beck, yes, there's an advantage quarterback-wise because, I mean, Carson Beck has a lot of experience, SEC experience, been in some really tough environments. So I think in that aspect, it's going to be interesting to see how they both play quarterback-wise. But I think when you talk about this defense, this Notre Dame defense, I talk about them all the time. And when we talk to them, it's like when they think of Miami, they're like, yes, this is our first challenge right out of the gate, but we're confident in who we are. We're confident in what we have now, what talent we have on this defense, especially offensively. But I kind of want to talk about the defense because they do have a lot of talent and they are experienced and they've been in these situations before. A lot of them have, a lot of the cornerbacks, a lot of the safeties, all of them. So I think like that's going to be the biggest thing for Carr, at least in my opinion, that is probably going to help him on that Sunday night. Is that he's been going up against this Notre Dame defense in fall camp and in practices that's probably really, really helped him kind of have experience. But obviously you can have enough practice reps here and there, but it doesn't really matter until you get there on the field and you kind of put it to work. But a lot of the players are very confident. Coaching staff obviously is excited for this first one. And, I think, again, like I mentioned, a lot of people look at this team as being, Marcus Freeman operating the way he does with this team, but it's like, can they get back to the national championship game? But I think for them, it's like, that was last year. Like we don't look at, can we get back to the national championship game? It's like, what can we do this week? And I think to have that mindset from that team, especially CJ Carr, who is a redshirt freshman, is going to help this team in the long run, because again, if something goes bad, they lose 2 games in a row or whatever may happen, it's like, how are we going to bounce back from that? Yeah, I don't really have a big prediction right now, but I do know that I think it's going to be, a battle. I think Notre Dame will win. I think that they've handled environments like that before, let alone, a team like Miami, which a team like Miami is very talented. And I do think Carson Beck is a very talented quarterback. But when I look at the talent on this Notre Dame defense, and especially with these wide receivers, and you just mentioned him, Jeremiah Love, I mean, if anything goes wrong, just hand the ball off to Jeremiah Love. So I think talent-wise, it's Notre Dame.
All right, Sabrina Hoover there. She's picking Notre Dame. She wouldn't give me her full in-depth prediction score-wise and everything. She's going to save that for their show that they're doing, which I don't know why you would. I mean, this is a massive. We're a national podcast here.
Yeah,
they're local regional television.
Yeah,
Market 99. I know a little about the market. I was in that building. I know what it is. Regional television. We're nationwide. So why would she not
international?
International, yeah. I mean, do they not understand we have crypto bros that watch our show? That's a fact.
Oh wait, no, I can't say that. Okay, but they're at their offshore bank accounts.
Yeah,
and they tune in to what is this called? The
V.O.C.
V.O.C. podcast.
Of course, why wouldn't you? I will also say before we make our picks for this game, people want Trevor in a suit.
Oh wow!
Trevor in a suit, they saying is next level. Until then, we're still stuck at tier 2.
Do I have to wear a suit every?
Trev Tux equals mainstream.
Do I have to wear a suit every show?
Maybe like a tuxedo T-shirt.
I can do that.
Yeah, could you please do that for us? That'd be great.
Well, yeah, you can't really. I was looking at you, and you can see what you're wearing. You're wearing a Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah,
you can't really see what I'm wearing. So
no, you're wearing. It looks like you're.
I am wearing a suit.
Looks like you're in military fatigues.
You know what? There's just an American flag on the shirt. That's it.
American.
It's not too close. It's not too far.
No, of course. Anything with an American flag is that's like suit level.
Yeah.
All right. So Sabrina said she expects Notre Dame to win. I have Jerry's pick, and I believe it is also Notre Dame.
I wish it wasn't. I wish he said Miami, and then we couldn't argue with him.
Jerry, yeah, he picked Notre Dame to win this game. Trevor, I will let you talk about who you think's going to win, and then I'll make my pick.
Okay, so one thing I would like to kind of get started with is that, yes, Carson Beck took a step back last year. from the year he had 2 seasons ago. But I think if he can, I think he led the SEC in like turnovers or something like that.
Yeah.
If he can limit his turnovers this season, I think that he could do more at Miami this season than Cam Ward did.
That's
Yeah,
massive.
yeah. So I like Carson Beck. I think he's a great quarterback, and like I said, limit the turnovers. I think he could have a really good year in Miami. But I don't think kind of what Sabrina was getting at. This isn't going to really be a quarterback versus quarterback game. Notre Dame's got the best running back in the country. They have this level of physicality that only a few teams can rival. So it's not going to be, a quarterback versus quarterback battle. So I'm going to take Notre Dame here. I'm going to take Notre Dame strictly because they are physical. They and they have the best running back in the country.
Yeah, I mean, so this game reminds me a lot of the Texas A&M game last year.
Yeah.
Where like Texas A&M had a good offense and defensive line. Miami has a very good offense and defensive line as well. Quarterback is a question for the team Notre Dame is playing. Connor Wegman was that last year, and now Carson Beck this year, just based off of what he did at Georgia. Georgia really didn't want him, so he kind of went to Miami. I think that this is a competitive game throughout the game until the end, and I think Notre Dame pulls one play away and they win. The one stat that scares me, two stats now, is everybody has picked Notre Dame so far from this podcast, Sabrina included.
Yep.
And Notre Dame is also 0-6 when they've played Miami in the Orange Bowl. The last time Notre Dame played Miami in the Orange Bowl, we went in as like the number 2 team in the country, and we got ramsacked 49-0, and that's when the turnover chain was popular. So I think it's going to be a tough game. I don't think Notre Dame goes in and they walk away with it. I think it's physical. I just think the Marcus Freeman factor of like, hey, boys, like, let's come to play. We're ready to play. This team has goals that they want set. We have playmakers, I feel like, everywhere. The defense is really going to help us on the back end when you look at who we have. I mean, Leonard Moore, Christian Gray at the corner position, Carson Beck coming in. I think they have all new wide receivers. So Notre Dame has an advantage there, but I think it's very low scoring. It's probably like the under is probably the play here. But I think Notre Dame makes one more play than Miami and they end up winning the game. But it's going to be one of those games where I am probably in the worst pain of my life until the game's over.
I love that.
Like, I'm going to be like jumping around, yelling, screaming on a Sunday night. Luke asked me this, why is Notre Dame playing on Sunday night? Because we have more power on Sunday nights.
That's right. It's the Lord's
We're playing with the Lord.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to give us over the hump. But I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a fun game. It's a fun matchup. Speaking of more fun matchups, here we go. Notre Dame's old coach. You see him there. A terrible neighbor of mine. Brian Kelly. And number 9 LSU walk into Death Valley, which they have their own Death Valley, so this makes this even funnier, to play Dabo Swinney and the number 4 Clemson Tigers. Clemson is a 4-point favorite, yet again, not gambling advice. And the over-under is set at 57.5. This is Saturday night's game of the week right here. Saturday night, 7:30 on ABC. LSU has not been very good in these opening games under Brian Kelly. They're 0-2. They have these big matchup games. They played Florida State, lost, played USC, lost. Now they play Clemson. I think this game is going to be one of those games that we look back on at the end of the year and say that either really helped that team move forward or it really damaged that team. Because I do believe both teams believe that they can come into this game and they win. And if they win, this takes them very, very far in both their conferences and gives them the confidence. Garrett Nussmeier, LSU, Cade Klubnik at Clemson. I don't think we're going to see too many more games with that high level of quarterback play. I picked Clemson to win the national title and go undefeated, so I expect them to win this game. It'll just be interesting to see LSU and kind of how they handle the moment. Brian Kelly is historically not great in big moments. Their defense is supposed to be better, so we'll see how that goes. I think their offense keeps them in it for a little bit, but I think Cade Klubnik and Dabo make the plays when they're needed. I think their defense gets a stop and they win the game.
Yeah. So I think I trust Cade Klubnik just a little bit more than I trust Garrett Nussmeier. I think that the talent on this Clemson team um, is something that we haven't seen in a while from Clemson. What 29-0 is what they were from when they won the national title, and then they went and I think they lost to Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it could even get rival that the talent level on this Clemson team. We haven't seen like a great Clemson team for a little bit, so I think people forget just really how good they can be. I also trust Dabo way more than I trust Brian Kelly in big situations. So I think LSU is going to be really good. I don't think by any means this ruins anyone's season. This is going to be I think it's going to be a high scoring contest. I think there's going to be a lot of big plays. I think Clemson's going to walk out though. But yeah, I think both of these teams. This could be like an iron sharpens iron kind of thing, where these two really good teams kind of set each other up for the rest of the season, and they're going to play at a very high level. So I'm going to take Clemson because I trust Dabo more than I trust Brian Kelly. But it's going to be a very good game. I am very excited for this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games, like, if it was being played at LSU, I may go LSU.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like one of those games. When you have a big game like this, everybody's kind of amped up for that first home game at Clemson. Yeah, you have a team that we haven't really seen in a while from Clemson, with Cade Klubnik at quarterback, and they have weapons now. Like, that's what Clemson's known for, right? Is they've had all these great weapons be there. Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins, like these guys that catch the ball great. Like I said, I think that they're very talented. I do agree with you. I don't think that this necessarily ruins LSU's season. I expect them to still make the playoff and still be very good. But it will be interesting to see just how they handle this moment. And if they do lose again for the third straight year opening weekend, kind of what happens with Brian Kelly, because the pressure's on you at that point.
Yeah, and I will say, I don't think Ohio State ended the 29-0. I think it was LSU,
might have been Notre Dame.
Wasn't it LSU beat them in the national championship with Joe Burrow?
LSU did beat them in the national title.
I think that was the end of the 29-0 thing.
Yeah, so there was a couple games in between there. So they had that streak. Notre Dame beat them during COVID with Trevor Lawrence there at time, and then they ended up playing Ohio State in the playoff. I want to say
maybe that's what it was.
So it might have been Notre Dame in that year, and then they lost again to LSU. But yeah, no, they had a big long streak. Because Trevor Lawrence came in, didn't start as a true freshman.
Yeah.
At first, it took a couple games, and they finally put him in, and then they went on and won the national title. Speaking of true freshmen and breaking news, this is exactly what Luke Hoxie's probably getting to right here.
Yeah.
Before we get to Ohio State, the loved team of Michigan, Bryce Underwood, true freshman, is named the starter at Michigan for their game against New Mexico. Luke Hoxie, we're already on top of it, dude. Like, you're late. Like, you're way late.
Yeah, we brought this up before the podcast started, didn't we?
Yeah, it happened right before the podcast. I was figuring out a way to tie it in, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, Luke
Trevor
Hoxie
Lawrence,
is
Bryce Underwood.
A fortnight late.
Yeah, like this guy thinks he breaks news. No. He slept the news. He's late on the news. Yeah, like he like thinks that he is this guy sometimes. He's excited for this Bryce Underwood kid. You pay $20 million to get your quarterback. You pay $20 million in sanctions and fines. I mean, $20 million is just going out of that university like left and right at this point. I mean, what a crazy time. But Bryce Underwood, yeah, this kid's supposed to be the next great one, supposedly.
I would hope so.
I mean, he wears an ugly number, in my opinion.
You pay the kid $20 million, he better be the freaking. What is he going to be, Denard Robinson?
Yeah, they would take that. They would take 8-4. Denard Robinson. He was talked about in the Heisman Trophy in September, and then never talked about again.
Yeah, dude. If you're paying a dude $20 million as a freshman, he better be like the next Joe Burrow at the college level.
He better be great. Here goes. Calling C.J. Carr the greatest talent since Jimmy Clausen. I did because Jimmy Clausen was pretty good in college. He threw some bombs. NFL career wasn't necessarily great, but he threw bombs. But yeah, Bryce Underwood is the starter at Michigan. They play New Mexico, Make-A-Wish game. So shocker that's where he's going to start.
We say that it's like a Make-A-Wish game, but I mean, like, look at like Notre Dame last year, they lose to NIU.
It can happen.
Imagine Imagine the fire from our chat if Michigan goes and loses New Mexico.
Yeah, Appalachian State. I mean,
yeah, right. Yeah. So I think they're going to be fine. I think they'll roll them, but it could happen. You don't know. He's a freshman.
No, you don't know. He's a freshman. He does get a home game, and then they go to play Oklahoma in week 2. So it will be
a test
to kind of see. You talked about the looking ahead effect. Do they maybe look ahead?
Yeah,
a little bit to there. Let's get into comments before we go to our last game. Highest rated ND player of all time. I think that's CJ Carr. Yep. Luke Hoxie, unfortunately, can't play the Coast Guard Academy every year. Well, when you sometimes, you have these people that help you out in the long run. Navy kept Notre Dame alive during World War II.
Yep.
I don't know why, because now we dominate them in football. They probably regret that decision. So we pay them back by playing them every year.
Yeah.
And he also said Northern Illinois, of course, why not? It happens. You know what that did for us? It made us a better football team in the long run.
Yeah.
Speaking of better football teams, here we go. This is the matchup everybody's been waiting for. This is
crazy.
This is a big one. I'm mad at the AP voters for not making this a 1 versus 2 matchup to start the season.
Right, yeah.
I blame them for that. Texas comes in as the first time ever being ranked number 1 in the preseason poll. Here we go. Luke Hoxie says Texas rolls. Texas roll, like Texas.
Ooh, now
Texas Roadhouse rolls. Is that what he's saying there?
Yeah, I think so.
With Hookums, I think he's Texas Roadhouse rolls. I think is what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I think he forgot to put Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah,
into that. So not betting advice. Ohio State comes in as a 1.5 point favorite, defending national champions. New quarterback, Julian Sayin. He's supposed to be the next great one, throwing to Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. I will say this game is very interesting because, yes, Ohio State won the national title. Yes, Ryan Day kind of got some of the fan base off his back for winning the national title, but didn't beat Michigan. So there's still some people that are like,
Yeah.
They lost a lot.
Yeah, yes.
And I mean a lot. 2 running backs to the NFL, gone. You did lose a wide receiver and Mbuka, who, if you needed a throw for a first down for 8 yards, you knew he was going to be there.
Yep.
They lost some offensive linemen, and their offensive line was not great to begin with last year. Defensively, they lose a ton. They lost pretty much everybody up front that was great for them. And Jack Sawyer, JT Tulomau, they lost their defensive tackle. They lost their corner on the outside. They lost a linebacker. Now, they did retain Caleb Downs, who is arguably the best defensive player in college football. But if your safety's making every tackle, that's not good for your defense.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. Now, Texas comes in with Arch Manning era has now started. Sark, who is arguably the best offensive play caller in the country. He's had nothing but time to kind of get ready for this game and kind of plan ahead for it. Arch has great weapons on the outside. Ryan Wingo, I think they have a couple other freshmen that came in and are really good. But they have a questioned offensive line. They had one of the better offensive lines in the country last year. They kind of lost all of them. But defensively, they bring back, I think, a first-round corner. You have great players all around the field for them on defense. So this game is very, very interesting looking at it from, yes, Ohio State won the national title last year, but, and it's like, yeah, Texas is supposed to be good, Arch Manning, but. So this game is a very interesting game for the first week. And I will say, before I let Trevor talk here, these 2 programs played in the first game of the year, I want to say in 2006. And that was Texas at Ohio State, Vince Young.
Oh, wow.
And Texas ended up winning that game and going on and winning the national title.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying history is going to repeat itself, but it could. I mean, that was a night game. This is a noon game on Fox. So,
yeah.
But it's the big game that really everybody's looking forward to. 1 versus 3. You can't get much bigger than this.
I mean, I think this week 1 is really it's unbelievable, and the kind of the capstone of it all is, I mean, this could be a national championship game, right?
Yeah.
So what I'll get I get started with is what you were kind of talking about. They lose Will Howard. they lose Travion Henderson. They lose Mbuka or I don't know how to say his last name. So they lose a lot of these, pieces that helped them throughout all of last season. I trust Arch Manning more than I trust Julian Sand because Arch played 2 games last season?
Yeah, he's had like 90 passes in his career. He
Yeah,
started a couple
so
games.
it's not like this is his biggest test by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
I think before that his biggest test was like Mississippi State or something. I don't know. But I trust Arch. I mean, he's gotten to play a little bit more. Julian Sand, I think I was looking up, he has like 100 yards in his entire career. I mean, he hasn't got to play a lot at all, really. So if this was, Ohio State versus Rutgers or Ohio State versus Maryland, I'd be like, okay, he's going to get his feet, wet a little bit. But this is Ohio State versus Texas. I think I'm going to take Texas here. I trust Arch. I think it's going to take a little bit for Ohio State to really get their identity back on offense. But kind of like what I said at the beginning, or with LSU and Clemson, this does not mean that these two teams could not face each other again in the national championship.
Yeah.
These are two teams that no matter what happens this week, they could still win their conference. So this is awesome that this is happening. But yeah, I'm going to take Texas.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily that Ohio State lost a lot of guys that really is like making me like lean one way or the other. It's the fact they also lost both their coordinators.
Yeah.
In Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles, of course, going to Penn State to be their defensive coordinator, and Chip Kelly going to the NFL to be the Raiders' offensive coordinator. So you lose both of those guys who you could make an argument for tandem-wise were probably the best coordinators in football last year. So now you have Brian Hartline, who, he's been there. He's developed wide receivers left and right. But now he's going to call plays. How much is Ryan Day going to be involved in calling plays with certain things? And now you have Matt Patricia calling the defense.
Yeah.
Pencil boy. Ask Lions fans how that goes.
Yeah.
He's a good defensive coordinator, was very good with the Patriots. But yet again, that goes back like how much was Bill Belichick involved in those schemes back in the day. So it's going to be very interesting. I think when you have all of that for week 1 game like this, it kind of hurts you. But you do still have Jeremiah Smith and Cardell Tate.
Yeah.
I mean, throwing to those two guys, I think we could maybe throw a couple touchdowns to those two guys.
Jeremiah Smith is like the Subway gas station, the Phillips 66 here in Cass. He's always open, baby.
He's always open. always open. So I think that's going to be – they were saying that so they played last year in the playoff, and that was a very tight game. It really was. And Texas kind of shut him down in that game, and I guess he's kind of been pretty mad about that ever since. It's kind of been a thought of his. It's like, hey, I was shut down in that game. I want to play better than I did last year against them. But with that being said, I'm just going to go Texas to win this game. I think 1.5 for Ohio State, I think, is just generous of like, hey, you're at home. You won the national title. Yeah. I think maybe if this wasn't a noon game that Fox does, maybe it's a little different. But I just think Arch Manning is ready for the moment. I think Sark is going to have something designed for them that's going to be very, very good against Ohio State's defense, kind of to take Caleb Downs out of it and kind of to make him have more tackles than what he should at a safety position.
Yeah.
Which would be very interesting. And I just think Texas is at the point where they're ready to go to the next level.
Yeah, I think so too.
And they've been close the last 2 years, being right there in the semifinals for a chance to go to the national title game. And I just think they're ready to do it. This is the moment. I think they're going to go in there, and I don't know if they'll roll like Luke Hoxie says, but I think that they'll kind of comfortably have a lead, and I think that they win the game.
Well, and I think this just kind of shows how highly we think of Texas. How many teams could we say go into Columbus after they win the national championship and beat them?
Yeah, not a lot.
So I think this Texas team is the real deal this year. So yeah, I think that's pretty crazy. That me, you, and Luke, and I think Jerry too, right?
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, so Jerry went with Clemson to win, and he also picked Texas as well.
That says a lot about the talent and all that stuff over there in Texas.
Yeah. Let's see what Luke Hoxie said here. Texas has that receiver transfer.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I don't think OSU has anyone that can cover him. No, I know
tried
what's
to get
going
you,
on.
dude.
No, I knew exactly what it was. I would have maybe have said it, but I've watched so many videos on TikTok recently about the guys that go up to the people at Walmart and say the names.
Yeah,
So,
I'm so glad. Oh, I should have maybe let.
No, I wasn't going to say it at all. I knew it was a fake guy. I know college football.
Yeah, you do.
I'm the voice of the South.
You're the voice of the South, North, and the people.
Yeah, I'm voice of everything. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this weekend. It's gonna be a good matchup.
Awesome. Yep.
Oh, Jonathan Foster chimed in. Hey, choke on any sausage lately? Yeah, when it's making me money, I'll eat it. I mean, I think people are just jealous.
Yeah.
They hate me because they hate me.
Yeah, and I was jealous because those things looked really good.
They were all good. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
We're gonna have to renegotiate my contract.
Here's the deal: you can sleep on a table. I don't care what you do; it ain't happening. It's just how it is.
I can't believe the one food video I got into was MREs.
Well, it worked out pretty well.
It did work out well.
You loved it. I didn't. That's on you.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I'd do it again.
So yeah, week 1 is upon us. Maybe the greatest opening weekend in college football history.
Yeah.
Jerry will be back at some point. He's living his best life in the city of St. Louis.
The Dirty Lou.
Being big time. Trevor, you start work tomorrow, like officially with children?
Yeah. Yep. School. First day of school is tomorrow.
Wow, look at you.
I know. I went back last week, but yeah, tomorrow's over. I had to go back to being a functioning member of society, which I didn't love, but we are.
I mean, I get it. I mean, the first week's probably the easiest week. So
it is very easy. Yeah. And I guess to reiterate, you are going to come out with the Sabrina video on Wednesday.
Yes.
And then for all 4 of our viewers, keep an eye on Wednesdays or Tuesdays from now on once the NFL gets going. Because we will start doing maybe not an hour and a half show, but
no.
Yeah, but something to recap Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday, Monday, look ahead, maybe just some of the college games or whatnot, or Thursday night. But yeah, so Sabrina video in full, the interview is like 15 minutes I did with her. Yet again, I appreciate her coming on this show when a lot of people say no. She stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
She really did. And she proved that anybody can do this. And she talking about Make-A-Wish, we were her Make-A-Wish.
And she was like John Cena.
Yeah, exactly. She granted our wish.
Yeah.
And having somebody that is an actual person in the building when we're outside of the building.
Very qualified. Way overqualified for this show. Yeah.
We're like a startup and we get the guy that was working at Apple.
Yeah, we got like Steve Jobs in his prime.
Maybe she believes in us.
She could.
And maybe that opens the floodgates for more talented people.
Are you saying you're going to get Marcus Freeman on the show, Caleb?
That will never happen. It's impossible to get him when you are in the building.
Yeah.
You get him. So this is how this works. Notre Dame does for like all the local TV. You get one interview with him, sit down at the beginning of the year, and then you just get whatever he has post game throughout the week and on Mondays for his press conference.
Yep.
That's all you get access wise.
Well, maybe he'll check the show and just really take a liking to us.
Maybe. I mean, I think we're cool guys.
I do too.
We respect him. He's a great coach.
He's a very handsome man.
He is beautiful.
Yeah.
And so is his wife.
Uh-oh. And maybe he's not going to be on her show anymore.
I think he'd agree with that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd agree that his wife is beautiful, yeah.
And they have 6 children.
Do they really?
Yeah. True Catholic man.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. All right. Luke Hoxie here says, obviously can't give gambling advice. We can't. We cannot do it. We cannot. We will not.
And we refuse.
But everyone give a lock per week would be a great segment. Maybe.
I mean,
my lock this week is Texas rolls Ohio State.
Wow. Okay. I think my lock is going to be Clemson over LSU.
Okay. Nolan Mark, King of Cards right at Michiana table to start his video. Caleb thought you. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Shipshewana Card Fest. Nolan dropped like $1 billion there.
Oh no.
Michiana Sports Cards is a place locally in Granger that we get a lot of sports cards from. And King of Cards is like a massive like YouTuber, like hundreds of thousands of subscribers in the card world. So that is pretty cool that he was at their table.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And then Jonathan here, lock of the week would be ice with period punishment at the end of year. Is anybody else confused? As I'm confused?
Like maybe we keep track of our record for lock of the week, and then at the end of the football year in freaking January, we get ice poured on us.
Nice. What?
Oh man.
What? I mean, I'd be fine with a couple pie to the faces. Maybe. Yeah, wheel of punishment. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, we could do.
There we go. Whoever is the worst with their records,
is track of that.
I marked everybody's stuff down.
We'll have to get Jerry's too.
I have Jerry's for this week's for the 3, so we're going to be screwed. Jerry's going to have a big lead for a while because we picked 10 games and he only picked 3 games. So we're going to have to. I'm going to have to text him and get his opinion on all these other 7 games. Because I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Him pick 3 games, we pick 10 games. That's not how that's going to work.
Fair. Yeah.
See, he's trying to live his best life in St. Louis and hurt us.
But he's not. Yeah, he's not going to get.
No, he's not that slick. He's not. No, he's trying to do some.
He's St. Louis slick.
Yeah, he's trying to do some big city balling on these small town guys.
V.O.C. slick.
No. You can't bullshit a bullshitter. Okay.
No.
I run the streets. Okay, I know what's going on. But with that being said, we'll be back sometime next week. We have to figure that out. Sunday night, maybe it's Labor Day weekend. So maybe before the Notre Dame game. So we'll have to figure that out. But we will be back. Check out the Sabrina video talking about Notre Dame football Wednesday. And with that, as always, thanks for watching.
Deuces.